We're going to do something really exciting today, you guys. We have a really fun project. In the last 20-something years, I've worked with countless kids. Between Chelsea and I, she's been in with me for 7 or 8 years, and between the two of us, we've worked with probably over 700 to 750 different groups of children. And so we've done all kinds of scenery. But today, we're doing scenery for a playroom, all right? We're going to teach you guys how to create a mural that can be removable. So the cool thing about this is we use easy paints. They're inexpensive, they're easy to work with, and we put it on cardboard. Great big pieces of cardboard. You've done little projects, right, for art, but I bet you've never done anything that's taller than I am. You can see how big this cardboard is right here. So we'll get this cardboard at home improvement stores. It can be refrigerator boxes, mattress boxes from other stores. Cabinet companies have large pieces of cardboard, but you're able to do a scene. You put it up for 3 or 4 months, and if you get tired of it, guess what? You do another mural and you can swap it out, okay? Neighbors down the road, maybe they can use the scene that you just took down. You know what? You can get together as neighborhood groups of friends. It could be a family reunion thing. You could do, date nights, couples. There's a lot of things you can do with this kind of scenery. It's a lot of fun. But we're going to work with you kids today and teach you the basics of it, because anybody can do this. It's not something that you have to be an artist for. Everybody's so afraid of painting or drawing because they say, oh, I'm not an artist. You know what? You don't have to be an artist for this. That's the cool thing about it. It's very basic techniques that we teach you. We're going to demonstrate and show it to you, and then you get to be the artist for the day, okay? Sound good? All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to show you some different techniques because you told us earlier that you wanted to paint a space, outer space scene. What do you want in that scenery?
Astronauts.
Okay. Well, you'll be the astronauts floating through, okay? We're going to simplify. No people in it, but the objects. What makes up outer space?
Planets.
Planets?
Alien ship.
A ship, an alien ship. That's cool. Okay, and you know what? Some kids will say, oh boy, I don't know how to draw an alien ship. But all you have to do is think about the shapes. If you're painting a rocket, the majority of it is rectangular, and you can put a point on the end, and the back end can flange out. You can make it up as you go. And two, if you had more time, you could actually reference pictures out of books or on the computer or whatever. But today, we're just going for it, okay? And I think you're going to surprise yourselves. So,
Okay.
all right.
All right, let's get going. All right, so over here, I've already kind of started half of the board of what we're trying to achieve with today on our outer space. Could you hand me Miss Vanna White, black? Yes.
Vanna White in her white. Honestly, Stacy.
Who wears an outfit like this?
Me.
When we tell her that we're going to do a segment on painting with children, and she shows up dressing like this.
Because it's going on
YouTube. We literally just got off work. All right, okay, so kids, we're going to start, this isn't waterproof, is it? No.
Yeah,
All right,
that's it. Tempera paints. We use 8-ounce bottles. They're easy to work with. You can get them at
Washable,
Michael's.
I meant washable.
No, that's not washable.
Okay.
You can order them online. You can buy them at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart carries them now. And there's 2 kinds of tempera paint.
This is the best one.
Art Time.
You can even see it.
Art Time.
Sergeant. That's the best.
Love it. That's one we like. It covers better. Okay. The ones that say washable, which we don't have, they don't work good. The reason that they make washable paint is so that it will wash out of your clothes. But guess what? It still stains.
Still stains.
It still stains. So don't mess with washable because it's got like almost like a jello base to it. So it's very translucent. It doesn't cover cardboard. It's okay for white paper, but we need something more opaque.
Okay. All right, okay, so the black is gonna be kind of our base. You don't need too much. It's just gonna kind of bind all of the colors together, and then you're literally just doing bursts of colors in different areas of the board. Now, the technique you want with the sponge is gonna be called crazy hands, all right? So you're gonna grab your already pre-moistened sponge, you put it in water, wring it out, and it's good to go. You're gonna hold it in your hand and you're just gonna move it around like this really fast, so crazy hands. We don't wanna spend too much time in one area trying to make it into one solid color. We wanna see those bursts of colors showing through, okay? So we're going to take these colors and move it around as fast as we can, getting it all on the board, and not, again, trying to turn this all into one solid color. So that black,
is this where we paint, like we put our paintbrushes in there?
you're gonna be given sponges, and you're gonna be doing this exact same thing
So we're
on
painting
the,
with sponges.
yes, sir. When it's your guys' turn,
These are called washes, okay? So you're painting thin with a wet sponge so that you put a thin layer in that dries quickly and it allows you to get back on it, because we're gonna do, this is a quick mural, okay? You don't wanna spend all day long detailing and painting. This is just a fun, quick project.
all right, now,
See all those colors coming through there? You don't want solid colors. You don't want to work in one.
You don't wanna overwork it. That means that it's like you're scrubbing the floor going over and over and over, because then you have one muddy, ugly color, okay?
thank you. All right, now what I'm gonna show you real quick is you get to do fun techniques where we can do like the Milky Way. So you can kind of do it and swirl it out. So you can kind of keep dipping it in the white and just work with it. You can do other colors as well. And just kind of get that going.
It looks like a tornado.
It's kind of what the Milky Way looks like, huh? Big
I thought the
tornado.
Milky Way was a band. Guys, what do you think? How's the Milky Way shaped?
Like
Anyway, whatever this
Tornado.
is, it's cool,
a
right?
hurricane.
I think she's knocking my Milky Way.
I'm not knocking
You know
the
what?
Milky
As a
Way.
kid's brain, which I am tapping into right now, that is the Milky Way. There is no right or wrong Milky Way in this
That's her
segment.
Milky Way.
That is my Milky Way. Okay, then we can even do fun things where you dip in your 5 fingers. It's called the flickering finger technique. Say that 5 times fast. You're gonna dip it, don't actually try it. Okay, so we're going to dip our fingers into the yellow, and then we flicker of the fingers to get our stars.
Be careful, I wear white.
Here, come here, I need your assistance. So actually, if you go a little bit higher, then you don't get these bands. I kind of like these bands because they're kind of fun. It's kind of like that speed of light thing going on and out in the universe. Whole bunch of fun, funky things happening
Another
out there.
reason that we use tempera paints is because you could use acrylic, but that stains permanently. It's like plastic when it dries. If you get that on your wall, you get that on your carpet, it's all over, and mama gonna be mad. So tempera paints, okay? Because if you were to get a little crazy and get in a little paint fight, which I know you guys are gonna stay so calm, but if you were to fling a brush and get paint on that wall, we could wash it off. And if it dried, we could still wash it off. But if you use acrylics or something else, you don't want to use latex paints, house paint. It's too thick, too sticky. So tempera paints is your go-to.
And when you're working with 25 plus kids, 30 kids at a time, you need something that's going to be washable.
The cool thing about this is you can work with just your family, or you could work with your neighborhood friends. You could work with a church group. It could be date night for older people. There's a myriad of things that you can do. So it's kind of fun.
All right, can you, actually. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna teach you guys, can you hand, we'll stop. Can you hand me a big brush? Big brush. He's about ready to turn it.
Everyone be quiet.
All right, I am going to demo how to do a planet, okay? So what colors should we do? Let's pick 3 colors for our planet, okay? All right, we'll start with you.
Red.
Red, got it.
White.
Got it. You two, pick a color.
Yellow.
Yellow, love it. All right, so what we do, we're gonna do a big brush just like this, okay? And we can squirt. It's a little crusty. We'll do some yellow.
Those look good.
Then what you can do is you just take your brush.
Oh.
Just kind of
Is that the Milky Way or a planet?
It's a planet, but you can move it around
But we can pick
until
any
you get
color
the
we
right,
want, right?
until you get the right look that you want, and then what we can do is we can outline it. All right.
Do we have
All
to do real plants or can we make
You
up?
can make up whatever you want, okay?
This is your opinion.
Once, and we can even do a contrasting color to outline this
Can
to
you
have it
name
show
it?
more. You can name it whatever you want.
Can you like
This is yours.
name it in the painting?
Sure, this is your thing. All right. Okay, so that's, you can get the idea of how you can kind of create that everywhere. And then let's just say if you wanted to put rings on this, you just take the brush and just do a couple of rings like that, okay? All right, so you get the idea. It's all right, okay, we're gonna have Marlene. Do you guys get the idea and the concept of how you can get the outer space colors in very quickly? The stars, you can do fun techniques, my version of the Milky Way, and different planets that you can do. Now we're gonna have Marlene demo how you can actually do the grounds of your own planet, if you will.
If you were
okay?
to walk on a planet in your scenery.
Okay. All right.
So, Stacey, do you want to hand me a paper plate? Huh? Okay. So, again, we use lots of colors. We never really paint with just one color. Every object that you paint with has at least 2 colors, if not 3 in it, okay? So, suppose that we've got the scenery and you want to show just part of a, let's do part of a planet. Like in your scene, maybe you're gonna be walking and bouncing and floating along on the surface of this planet right here, okay? So, I'm going to take, since I already got some yellow in it, we want this planet to be bright, okay? And look at the colors in Olivia's shirt. That's what we're aiming for. So, you can take a band of your yellow, and notice I'm just squirting it right on, okay? All right, I've got white and I've got yellow in there. And I want the edges to have just a little bit of green, okay? So I'm just gonna skip a little green through there. I'm starting with the lightest part first, okay? So at the bottom here, now see how it's starting to blend. You're gonna hold your hand flat on the sponge. That way you've got pressure and it's covering the whole surface, okay? So as you go back and forth, just that quick, you've got a planet. Now, if you want it a little, funky, you can jiggle it a little bit. Flip your sponge over so you're not moving all that paint down in the bottom. And you can do, what's this called? What did Chelsea tell you?
Crazy hand.
Crazy hand, okay? So you can have these little bands in there so that it's got more interest. Now, when you see a planet or the moon or something, it has these little pock marks in it, right? So if you take, let's put in it maybe a little brown. Can you get me another bottle, Stacey? Do your job now. You're slacking, Stacey.
You might want to tell them what you were using chalk.
Oh yeah, sidewalk chalk. You don't do a lot of drawing with this stuff, and we'll show you more about that as we get going, okay? Do you want to take the seal off of that one? Okay.
I won't take away from your job. Thank you.
All right. Woo! That's why you wear paint clothes. Gets a little sloppy here. All right, I'm just going to throw out some colors here, okay? And there's a lot of different ways that you can put the little pocks, the little divots in the planets. I actually stepped on paint with my heel the other night and spun on it, but we're not gonna do that. I mean, if you guys want to, you can, but you know, my heel is still stained with purple.
We really get into our work.
Anyway, yes.
So is it like the pockets on the moon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So all those little details are what makes your painting so interesting. There's a couple of ways you can do it, all right? First of all, I'm gonna do fingers, all right? So I'm gonna start with my finger in the orange, my finger in the brown. I'm gonna pull a little of it off, and you can take it and just pull in some different pockets. You might have just a tiny bit of brown in there, okay? And you're just putting in these little divots, okay? You could even take palm of your hand, and you always want to blot it off so there's not too much. And you could just lay that in there. You could slide your hand. You can stretch these out. You can have little ones, you can have bigger ones.
Okay, and he's getting ready to turn it on.
So now you've got a moon with some details. Then I'm even gonna
You ready to
take,
turn it off?
do that all across here. Okay. Okay, so I've got the little pock marks in here, the little divots. I think they're a little too strong myself. So I have my sponge with a little bit of green left, and you can work them in a little bit. You could even take, where's my white? Where's my white?
Here's your white.
My white. Where's my white? You could ring around here. Really, there's no right or wrong to this, as long as you get some detail in there, okay? So you can go around it, and it's just these subtle little pock marks, and the dark parts, that's what makes it look like
Is this
it's
a
going
planet?
inside. Yes, this could be any planet you want it to
Looks
be.
like the moon because of craters.
Okay, then it's the moon. Okay, so you've got little divots through there. You can take your sponge and just work it, but you don't want to overwork it because then you've got too much. Now, to really make those show up, yes,
Do the craters have to be circles?
no, it can be anything you want, and you can come around and you can just bring them out with a little bit of outlining. You don't have to do the whole circle. You can just hit it a little bit. You can just go underneath just to bring it out, okay? All right, you might have a little one up here. You want them running off so it looks like it's going clear over the other side, okay? So that's an easy planet that you can do, all right? Now, another one that's fun to do is craters. You know how it shows sometimes on shows that it's really craggy and rocky and that kind of thing? So here's our infamous chalk. We just draw with chalk very minimally. So, and honestly, you could just do it with your paintbrush, but so you can,
for sidewalks.
yeah, you can put your line in, and that's your guide, okay? So we're gonna start, and this time I am using, I'm gonna put a different color, actually I'll just put more in here, because I don't need very much paint, but when you guys do it, you can put it in the containers, okay? So I'm going to just have some paint in here that I can slide my brush into, and I need red. And can I have another plate, Stacy?
Yeah.
Please.
She's really playing this roll up.
And a little bit of white. It is important. You're saving me many steps. Okay, so the back one I want darker, okay? I'm gonna do this dimensional so it's not just flat. I could come in here and slap some orange paint in here and say, oh, there's the craters, but nah. You always want to have multiple colors in there. So the back one, it's gonna be further away from us. I'm gonna do it darker. So I've got red and I've got brown. I double loaded my sponge brush, okay? So I'm gonna start, and this is just craggy, okay? So you're just dipping as you go. Craggy, you're gonna,
We make up words.
we have our
around
own
here.
lingo. We have our own lingo. And see how my brush is just wiggly and it's going all different directions. I'm not doing circles because I want it, what's the word?
Craggy.
Craggy. Craggy, craggy, craggy. Not cranky, not crappy, craggy.
Crappy.
Craggy. Are you saying I'm painting crappy? All right, so we come, and you don't want it perfect because it's craggy. It's craggy. And you don't have to worry about getting it perfect. You just want to lay the color in there because
What is this like a sidewalk?
this, excuse me. No, yes, it's the moon sidewalk. No, this is your
Surface of the moon.
all right, here we go. Shame on me. I'm gonna paint upside down.
You get it now? It's the
Okay.
planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, lost my head there. I usually paint upside down.
Then you can even do fun things by outlining it in purple. Showing.
Wait. Hang on, sister. You're jumping the gun here, sister.
She's ugly.
This front one, okay. Now, we're gonna put lighter colors in
This
this.
is the surface of a moon.
Or any planet.
You will see it
Any
evolve.
planet you want.
And this one's surface.
This one's lighter in the front, right? Okay, so we're doing the front layer, and I'm just making this up as I go, okay? I'm not spending a lot of time drawing this in. You can take your chalk, and you can actually, you know, if you're not comfortable to just do that, you can put your chalk line right over what you've already done. But you're just gonna slide that brush along, and the trick is you want it lighter than your back, the back crater that you've already got in, okay? So, we're gonna get this all in here really fast. Is a little hot flash coming on? I'm not kidding. You're not there yet, Chelsea. You're still in your prime.
Oh, or so
I'm
you,
beyond
or
that.
so you think.
It's making me hot painting this fiery crater. Okay, so.
Puts
All right.
you, in other words, she gets really into her work.
All right, so we're gonna pretend that we've got that all painted in, okay? I want you guys to have more time to paint, so I'm not gonna do that all solid. But even with that, if that's all I did, you could still even, Stacey, can you have me a 1-inch sponge brush? The outlining is extremely important because it's what brings everything to life. It defines it and it shows the space, and it's gonna bring this crater forward. So
Okay,
you just
stop
slide that
for a
along.
second, Cole.
Do you know what a hot flash is?
Okay.
Yeah, hot flash is not like flames coming out my head here.
Okay, let us know when you push play.
Out of first place.
All right. Here we go.
Alright.
All right, so we're gonna finish outlining. And then you can just pick out some of these other areas in here where there's cracks, and just those little touches, you're bringing out some of those points in there, okay? And we're gonna go all the way across. You're just sliding, and notice I'm using the tip. I'm not using the fat part of it for this, okay? And so that separates from the back, okay? So we're gonna outline the top.
Let me interject real quick. Now, if you're gonna do this scape up against the universe, you might not be able to see it as much with the black and up against the black backdrop. So if you want a contrast to make it look like the planet's glowing, then up against your backdrop, you can outline your building in yellow. All right, if you want to make it look like, or
And you'll have to put a little bit of white in it.
planet. Thank you, not building, planet. You want to outline your planet in yellow, then it will show up more up
Yes,
against
it's
your
over there. You have a
universe.
question?
Yes.
So do you have to wait till like when your backdrop, the base is
Dry.
Dry.
Yes, and it takes, if you do the wash technique correctly with not a lot of paint and you smooth it around evenly, it takes 5 minutes to dry, tops. Okay, even quicker if you do this activity outside.
Okay.
Okay?
Alright, so you guys get the idea here, right? Okay.
All right.
So it's time for you guys
Who's ready to paint?
to paint. Okay, the first thing you have to do though, guys, is you're gonna block in your rocket, your spaceship. We want the big things in, and you can do a sign.
Do we do the big things first?
Yes.
And you can do a sign that might,
So like the Milky Way and planets?
yeah, you can do a sign, block that out, so that you can name a planet, because that gives detail, and you don't want it little tiny, you want it big, you want your spaceship big, and you need your planet, at least one big planet. So this is the first thing you're gonna do. So if everybody will grab a piece of chalk.
Okay, we'll move all this out.
Everybody grab some chalk.
Okay.
Pink. Okay. Oof. I got the one that's
Okay, go ahead and stop, Colby. This part on doing fire, we're starting off with the red. And then, Olivia, can you hand me the orange?
yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And then we are going to add orange.
No, I'm doing my space.
And then we are going to add some yellow. Okay? Marley, what you're going to do is you're going to take it and you literally just move it just like that. You're going to create this fire. Okay? And then I can add a little bit more yellow as you're pulling it, but you're taking it right there and you're just gonna pull it, okay? So if you come over here, you get a better angle at it. There you go. So take right here and then you're just gonna move it. Perfect. And then that's how we're getting that fire. Cool. Now let me add a little bit of yellow. Hold on. You don't want to overwork it because then you'll lose that yellow. But let's add a little bit of yellow towards the end, right here. And right here. Okay, so drag just where the yellow is. Nope, just the yellow. There we go. And right here. Don't push down too hard, just barely lightly so you can see more of that yellow. If you barely put your brush on it, then you'll be able to see that yellow. That's cool. Nice. Hey, Knuckles, dude. Good job. All right. Okay.
I'm bleeding.
All right. Okay. Take over. Nice.
about 2.5, maybe 3 hours, you created this mural. Isn't that awesome? Are you pretty excited?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can you believe you did that?
Cool.
Pretty cool, huh?
It's all dry now.
So, what we need to do is, because it's still wet, and we're going to let it dry flat to dry, because if we folded it up, all of these little goobers where it looks like pudding marks, if we folded it right now, because there's a seam right there,
What?
it would stick together, and then when you opened it up, it would rip off. So what we need to do is we need to let it dry. Now we can actually, if we don't fold it all the way, you can stand it up like this, and you can let that dry. Then when it's completely dry, you lay it down, fold it up, and then you weight it. You put a table over on it or something heavy to flatten it out. So then when you put it on the wall, it's fairly straight, okay?
And if you don't want to put it on the walls, if your parents don't want to do that, then you can try fold this as well, like an accordion, to stand that way in your playroom or in your room, or whatever fun event you have created this for.
So we would actually score it in two places vertically. Even though there's a fold right there, it's okay. Because once you score it from behind, scoring means you slice it partway through with a razor knife, and it won't bend. So if we did it like right here and right there, you can bend it both ways, and then it would stand up like a zigzag on its
We
own.
will show on our next video.
Awesome. All right,
Okay.
give yourselves a big hand.
Let's take a picture. Oh, you can stop that now and then.
And we won't even have to go to the full bench. Okay, so what we're showing you here is how to make a 3D rock that you could place in front of your scenery. If you're doing a skit, or if you just want a cool little 3D feature in front of the planet in the playroom, you could do a cluster of these. That was a little heavy with the black. And you don't even have to go clear to the edge. There you go, Chels. But as long as you get the bulk of it in the middle, you don't have to worry about the edges that much. So again, you're just spraying paint. And honestly, you can use any color of butcher paper because you're covering it. And it's, again, it's key not to overwork it. So this is just literally spreading this paint, but not in scrubbing motion into one big thing. You want to see the different colors in it. And honestly, even that much is all you need. Then what you do, Stacey, you want to grab that stapler, is we're going to start rolling all these edges under. And you could actually let this dry just a little bit. You don't have to, but it would give it a little bit more body. But as you take this, you form it as you go, and all of these little areas, just here and there, you're going to staple. And it's really cool because it dries and it's pretty crisp. We actually did a scene, a Shrek scene outside for an event, and we had a cluster of these rocks. So as we pull this around, just make sure and attach it into some key places. Stacey, do you want to grab a sponge brush with some white paint in a container? Okay, so you get the idea there, okay? So you can actually, you can form it all the way around if you want and tuck it and staple it better, but this is going to dry pretty crisp. And then what you do is you just take
Nothing on you today. I'm proud of you.
You take, Chelsea, you can go, yep, and pull the darks. This will give you some crags and also some highlighted areas.
I'm gonna look up crags in the dictionary when I get home. See if it's a word.
It's my word. Craggy. Isn't that a word?
I think it is.
I think it's a word.
Crabby.
Crabs.
Craggy. Crags with an G.
But you can see it starts forming.
Sorry.
You're good. Anyway, you get the idea. But it's a pretty cool thing that you can make really quickly for a 3D effect. And you could plop that right in front of your scenery. So we'll stand this up, Chelsea and Stacy. You can just pop it right in front. Okay.
Switching roles.
We got it.
Okay. Got it?
So you could do a whole bunch, you could even staple it right to the board if you wanted to do a 3D effect. But in the kids' area where they're having fun, you can do a whole bunch of these. Once they're dry, they're really fun to toss
Different
around.
sizes, some large, small, and medium, but that's a cool thing to do really fast for a big effect.
Also fun to make a whole bunch of these, like meteors that are flying. They don't damage the walls and the kids can throw them, have fun. All right. Anyways,
All
we're gonna
right.
edit that out. Okay.
Okay.
You want to run around? Yeah.
All right.